Try that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got
Yay.
it.
Are we sure?
Yeah, we're sure.
Yeah,
we're
we got
sure.
green dots.
Yay!
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, let's try this again.
Wow.
Hi.
We did it. And no one needed to mansplain us.
Okay, well, maybe one person did.
Yay! Yay! Yeah, Mike did need to mansplain us. Okay,
Yeah, but it was very well.
It's not a mansplain if he actually
Yeah, that's true.
helps.
Okay, let's rewind, go back to the beginning. I'm Courtney, and this is
Alison
of the Double X Files, and this is our favorite people, Anne. And she's from the Riverdale Gang podcast, which is coming to you in
January.
Yeah. So you gotta check that out. Again, we just talked about how we're an explicit podcast.
Yep.
Anne's going to be an explicit podcast.
I'm the gutter drains into.
Yeah, but we're going to try our hardest to explain and talk through the Ghostbusters without using swears. So let's practice. Swear for me.
Woof.
Poop.
Gee golly.
See, that's the type of amazing swears you're going to expect from us. So let's, as we only have an hour, so let's get started. I want to go through each one of us, and I want to talk about just your first thoughts. Like, give me 1 or 2 sentences overall what you thought about this film, the 2016 Ghostbusters. Alison, you want to start us off?
Okay, my main thought after finishing it was just that I had a lot of fun. Like, I had a lot of fun, which I don't say about a lot of movies.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was high energy, and I enjoyed watching it. And the other thing that I came away from it with was that I really loved the music. Like, I loved the way they incorporated the existing score into the score for that movie.
Even the Fall Out Boy song?
Fall Out Boy notwithstanding.
Okay. That was terrible.
I do want to talk about the Fall Out Boy moment later.
Okay.
But because I think that is important. Like, because a lot of people said that ruined the film for me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
Is that person Michael?
No. Anne.
Hi. Yes.
Why don't you just a couple sentences? Why don't you tell us what you thought about overall?
It was a beautiful moment, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that probably everybody in the theater was really annoyed at the that particular corner of the theater that we were sitting in, because all we could do was scream slightly sexually explicit things at the screen and sigh heavily, and then just guffaw at every fart and queef joke that there was.
Yeah, we did sit all together, us and a bunch of ladies.
And my husband.
And your husband, yeah. We did have a very good time.
Yeah.
So you had a very good time.
10 out of 10 would Ghostbust.
We'll go. Oh, I like that.
Oh boy.
I smiled from moment 1 till moment 0. Like I did.
Okay.
She glowed.
I glowed. This was my face when I was watching it.
I was sitting beside her. It was a little hard to watch.
I was sitting right behind her, and I could see her going the entire time.
I did smile. So, and as you'll notice, we all identify ourselves as women. So you, as maybe not a woman, maybe would have different views, and that's okay. I mean, that's okay, right?
I've been informed of a non-woman cis male opinion of the movie, and he said that he was a 7.75.
That's pretty good.
Would Ghostbust.
Okay, that's good.
He also informed me that when we birth forth our larva into the world, that when we have Family Ghostbusters franchise marathon, that this movie is part of it and will be very important. But we would not watch the shitty Ghostbusters extreme cartoon, because that was terrible.
Now, I could argue something about that, the Extreme Ghostbusters, but let's just stick with the movie.
Different podcast.
That's good. Yeah, we are 3 women, and for us, seeing 4 women on the screen in their own was really exciting.
Yeah, it was great.
And I don't know if you guys saw, there was a little girl who exited the movie while we were kind of all waiting around, and she had a smile on her face, just like me. And I think that's really important too. Right?
Yeah. There was pictures from the
the premiere.
From the premiere, which a bunch of local Ghostbusters in this particular area. There's a fan
the
group.
BC Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters of BC, they actually got to do red carpet coverage.
Yeah.
And they're super excited. But there's this one picture of this girl. She's talking to Kristen Wiig. But what you see is this girl watching that in her full little Ghostbuster outfit.
Yeah.
Like, Kristen Wiig.
That was Bigfoot, you guys.
So spoopy.
Whoa, so spoopy. It was a ghost. I don't know.
I'm
was
not
my
afraid
ghost
no
dinner.
roommate.
It was a weird afraid no roommate. Okay, so again, we all enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it for whatever reason, that's fine. We're not arguing with you. We just
We'll
want to
let you have your opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
We just want to tell you our perspective, and we are going to go through the pros.
Whoa!
We are going to go through the pros and cons for sure,
Yeah.
because there were some cons of the movie. I don't like movies. You don't. You
I
barely like movies.
barely like
I
movies.
love movies.
You love and loves movies.
And loves movies.
I love them. It was fun.
So, I mean, yeah, we'll be honest. We'll be honest. We're not gonna like. I mean, that's rude. So I'm not gonna do that.
Ooh.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, Courtney.
I'm sorry.
Michael Cohn, can you bleep that?
Can you put a censor
Can
mark?
you just put a censor?
Okay.
Put a post
I want to start by talking about the characters.
Yes.
Yeah,
because I
that
think
sounds
that's really
good.
important. I think we got to talk about, and you're going to take this one,
Yes.
about our favorite character.
Oh,
I think everyone's favorite character.
Saint
Gotta
Jillian of the beautiful science.
Yes.
Jillian
Yeah.
Holtzman.
Yeah, Jillian
Dr. Jillian Holtzman. First off, when they first did the pictures, like the first, like, here's all the stuff. Here's all the things. I immediately downloaded every Tumblr GIF of her sipping on a straw,
Yeah.
licking a pistol, just kind of picking her nails, winking. I still have it on my phone. It's the background of my phone
Yeah.
and my
So how do you think that character worked within the movie? What do you
God.
think? Like, what do you?
She was just. She's you know how you both talk about how Scully is like a radiant perfected being.
Yes.
Yes, that is true.
That's accurate.
Like a bodhisattva of amazingness.
Yeah.
That would be Jillian Holtzman. I think that she I love the fact that she unabashedly flirted with Kristen Wiig the entire time,
Yeah.
which makes me sad that after the movie came out, they said, yeah, she was written as a queer character, and then
They couldn't do it.
They told that they had to cut all that out and make it not a thing, which is upsetting. Because,
Maybe in the sequel.
I hope so. I just want her to kiss a girl so bad. Me. But the best part about that is the comedy that she did was the type of comedy that was in the original Ghostbusters.
Mhm.
It was cheeky, it was sly, it was subtle for the most part.
Yeah.
And it was like physical comedy, but it wasn't slapstick.
Yes.
She did the best psychobabble ever.
Yeah. Definitely.
I was sitting next to a friend of ours who's like a local cosplayer, and she's like, I found Kate McKinnon attractive. And then she said that, and I will be in my bunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like how because I think the one thing that we all want to do with this movie, and a lot of people want to do this movie, is equate the old Ghostbusters to this one. And I don't want to, people are going to do that. So we shouldn't avoid that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think her humor had the inspiration and the quips.
It was a
one-liners.
Peter Venkman meets Egon humor matrix.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? So flirting as a comedy act
Yes.
instead of just,
Yeah.
being a slime ball.
Yeah. No, I think that is something you can equate that to. And she did have a lot of great one-liners. Your favorite being?
My favorite being is safety lights is for dudes.
Safety lights is for dudes.
It's my favorite hashtag. I've been hashtagging it on all the media. I've been doing about this since the movie came out. The cameo at the end of the movie with her mentor, who is also a beautiful saint.
Who is
Sigourney Weaver. Oh my God.
This is a spoiler cast, so we can tell you.
Sigourney Weaver and her wearing the same outfit and having the same hair and talking the same talk and saying things like, yeah, safety lights is for dudes.
That was really good.
It was the kind of moment where you look at it and every like girl power moment that you've ever wanted to see. Like I grew up watching science fiction and fantasy. I'm a legacy nerd. My parents are nerds. And like growing up watching Alien and knowing that like Ellen Ripley was like the bomb.
Yeah.
And Sigourney Weaver's character in Ghostbusters was awesome. And then just seeing her interacting with Kate McKinnon in that way. Like,
it was good.
God, just the feel.
and I think even if you're not a female nerd, or even if you're not a female, like you can still appreciate.
No, my husband was like, he was like, that was the coolest.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was great.
Alison, can you take the Melissa McCarthy Kristen Wiig thing? Do you want to talk about those two?
Those two?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you wanted to talk about Melissa McCarthy first, right? Or Kristen Wiig?
Kristen Wiig, I was going to talk about.
Why don't you
talk about them both?
Why don't you talk about Kristen Wiig first? And
okay.
Then we'll kind of we'll sprinkle a little Melissa McCarthy in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kristen Wiig's character was really set up to be kind of the straight man of the film.
Yeah.
So to speak, and especially like to have Melissa McCarthy's character as her foil. So it was really interesting to see them interact, but she definitely brought a lot of comedy to the role herself. Because I mean, if you watch Kristen Wiig, she is just innately hilarious.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I like Can I Touch always is in my head.
Oh yeah.
People say you don't watch SNL.
No, I don't watch TV or movies. What is a movie? I don't know.
You live in a bubble.
I have to say what took for the moment for me that took her from being like, like, okay, this is a straight man main character of Ghostbusters to like a really interesting layered character.
Yeah.
Was when she was talking about, surprise, her backstory. But the part where she says, again, Spoilercast, the woman next door died and I saw her at the foot of my bed and I saw that every night for a year.
Yeah.
That was the moment where it's like, oh my God, can you imagine like the psychological effects that would have on this character and how that made her who she is.
And then the fact that like her entire life she's been victim blamed and bullied.
Yeah.
She's been told that she's like a crazy freaking weirdo.
Yeah.
For thinking there's ghosts when she's been victimized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was an important part.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy was a good foil to her.
Yeah, she was.
For sure. A lot of the commentary that we have been reading about is like Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig is boring.
I didn't think they were boring.
I liked the banter between them. I thought the
I like their friendship, but I don't like.
I like their friendship.
Is that? Sorry,
as characters or as actors?
Characters. No, I love them as actors because I love me some St. James.
Especially in a comedy, you don't have to like them as characters, as people.
Like I don't think I would have been friends with those characters.
No, but it's fun to watch them like bounce off each other.
But their friendship is beautiful.
The dialogue was very good. I've read things that say the dialogue was flat, but it was very, very snappy.
Those people are smoking crack.
Smoking lollipops, right, Anne?
Yeah. Crack isn't a bad word.
I don't know. For the kids.
Crack sugar.
You crack sugar. There was crack sugar.
Gonna put a big old bowl of crack sugar in my tea.
I think, I mean, like, I thought their dialogue was natural, and I like how they snipped back and forth. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
The running thing with Melissa McCarthy and the soup was cute. The little soup thing.
Oh, that soup bit. I did love that.
I did like the soup bit. The soup goof. I like that. Soup. So, they were good. I think the biggest, not surprise for me, but the biggest development that I was a little bit worried about was Patty, Leslie Jones's character. So a lot of the commentary, and we're not
voice.
Yeah. And again, we're not going to really talk about the commentary, what happened before this movie, because I feel like there's so much to unpack about that. But the one concern, and I had it too, was, is she going to be that two-dimensional, stereotypical African-American character? And she wasn't. and it delighted me. Her knowledge of history was key to the movie.
Mhm.
I really liked how the other girls were kind of very, very science-minded, but Patty was down to earth, but also had a very distinct knowledge of the city that I really, really liked. That showed she read and showed she was.
I was gonna say, I'm not surprised that you like that so much, considering she had that all the historical information.
All the historical information.
She was like an Atlas Obscura.
She was an Atlas Obscura. She was a totally, and I appreciate that because her kind of archetype. If again, I hate doing the two movies together, but you kind of. People want to do it.
It's a cultural touch point, and you have to do it.
I know, but I mean, I would like it to be two separate things. Like her counterpart, what's his name? Winston. See, I knew more about him from the cartoon than I did from the movie. I feel like he was very two-dimensional in the movie, but that was again just me. I
love you.
What?
You think, okay, your only touch point is the cartoon?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, I've watched all the Ghostbusters movies.
Okay.
And yeah.
It just was not just didn't stick out?
No.
Okay.
And in fact, I mean, if we're going to talk, a lot of the characters to me were two-dimensional when I first watched the movie.
Okay.
For sure. You got to speak up, though.
I do.
Yeah, okay.
Which is funny that I have to speak up about all the people who are here.
So that's our review of the characters. Again, I would recommend you not compare them to their counterparts because they're individual characters and people.
One more thing about the Leslie Jones thing
is
the other writer of the movie, not Paul Feig, but the other writer whose name is escaping me. But she's lovely. Good, lovely writer. Before she actually... wrote the movie, she actually did talk to the actresses about it, and so she talked to Leslie Jones about what Leslie Jones would want to bring to the character. So people who were like, oh, they've made this person a pantomime or something like that, Leslie Jones had input into the character. It wasn't like she got the script and was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be this. Like, if you know Leslie Jones's career, if you've watched her stand-up, not just what she's done on SNL, her stand-up is like this. This is not just like a caricature. This is essentially Leslie Jones being Leslie Jones, who also is a walking Atlas Obscura.
Yeah.
And her stand-up is hilarious, and you should check it out.
Yeah. No, I appreciated her. I appreciated her. And I appreciated the history background of that. Like all the really creepy things. Okay, so we're going to go now kind of not point by point, but we're going to kind of go in broad strokes, the kind of beginning, middle, and end, and what we thought about the plot, sort of thing. I do want to start with the cold open because it actually creeped me out.
It was scary.
It was a little creepy.
Pooped me just a little bit.
It pooped me a lot.
I am somebody who does not enjoy the jump scare. To the point where I actually can forecast the jump scare. I know it's coming. I'm yelling jump scare at the screen. The jump scare will happen. Yeah. And I will pee.
Oh no.
Like, did you pee a little bit then?
Well, that's why I ran to the bathroom.
Oh, is that when you ran to the bathroom? Okay.
No, we all had to go to the bathroom at the same time once during the movie. No, not really. I didn't actually pee, but I was like, oh, this is gonna happen. This is something, and again, I didn't get, I wasn't expecting it to be creepy, to be scary, and maybe really? I like that they used classic horror movie techniques to make sure that it was about ghosts.
So it opens. It opens with it opens with Zach Wood's character in this big ancient house in the middle of New York City, and he's taking people on a tour and he's telling creepy ghost stories. And there's a mechanic where he actually sets and pushes a what's it called, candlestick off, and it's something that he does to freak people out. And then he finds out downstairs there's actually a ghost, ghost. Cool effects. What do you like? What do you guys think about the ghost effects?
Yeah, I liked them a lot. I think honestly, in this sequence, what I liked more than the ghost effect was the crumbling basement.
That was cool.
Like everything just falling apart as soon as he went in there, and the like goo coming up from the floor. Like the whole atmosphere of what was happening in the room. But I mean, the ghost effects were also really great. The animation was great.
Yeah.
I like the practical effect of the mirror people.
Mm.
Like,
the scrying mirrors.
Yeah, the scrying. I'm such a nerd about practical special effects. Like I have watched.
Was it
hours.
practical?
Yeah, it was.
No,
It was
okay.
a practical spectacle. Because I've watched hours and hours and hours of background footage on how they do like the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
They do that effect in the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
It was great.
So
Also,
what?
the Slimer puppet was freaking awesome.
Was it a puppet too?
Yeah, I
Okay.
posted actually the creature creation workshop that made Slimer.
Yeah.
They posted a video of the puppeteer in doing the Slimer stuff. And I posted that on
I wasn't sure that was a practical effect, but I'm glad that it was.
Yeah, that's a puppet. They did it on blue screen. So
Yeah.
they had like his legs. They couldn't do it on green screen.
Yeah.
So they did it on blue screen. His legs didn't obviously were cut out, but that's a puppet that they then added glow effect.
That's cool.
Yeah. So cool.
I mean, the original Ghostbusters, I mean, the little dog things are apparent, they're practical, but they're like clay, right?
Yeah.
They're
It did look pretty cool though.
They did.
Look
The Keymaster.
Yeah. These ones, a lot of people said they didn't like them. I didn't mind them.
The ghosts? Oh.
I loved, I don't know, people on the internet. People on the internet. There's a lot of people on the internet that didn't like this movie.
I have to say one of the things that I found the
I'm
funniest.
glad I live in an echo chamber where everybody tells me what I like to hear.
Yeah.
One of the things I found the funniest in regards to like the how they did the effects and stuff is that one guy that I know had posted on Facebook when they first released photos of the Marshmallow Man, and everyone thought, that maybe this was going to be a direct scene for scene sequel. And he said, "Oh, come on, this is not the time to go CG." And he's an animation director, so he knows what he's talking about. But I just found it funny then watching the movie and seeing
It's a balloon.
the Marshmallow Man was actually like a parade float.
Yeah.
And of course it doesn't look the way it looked
So
in the previous movie.
I like that balloon thing was really cool.
that balloon
That
gag
was
the best.
amazing.
And the
Amazing.
shot where they shoot them from underneath. So obviously they're shooting them underneath
Yeah.
plexiglass.
It crushes the girls.
Just seeing all those balloons like come back down the alley, it was really
That aesthetic, the kind of cartoony stuff was like brought me back to the cartoon, and I enjoyed that.
I like that they brought the cartoon of Boo in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was cute too.
That was really cute.
I did like how they did that too, and he was kind of cartoony, but I like that
Yeah,
because I think this is kind of a cartoony movie, right?
it should be.
So Kristen Wiig's character is a professor, and it turns out that a book that she wrote with her friend Melissa McCarthy about ghosts is out into the public because Melissa McCarthy wants to make money off of it, and that's why Kristen Wiig goes to where Melissa McCarthy and
Jillian
Holtzman is. What's the actress's name?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon is. And again, the dialogue is great. I like the snippiness.
Yeah, I like that they had a good back and forth, and it was like they got into scenes quickly and out of them quickly.
That
which
EFP
is nice.
gag.
Oh yeah, the AFP.
Yeah, that was great.
The first time I've seen a vagina fart joke in a blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
And I appreciate. Yeah.
I loved it.
Have you heard of queef joke in a movie?
No, but they made a whole episode of South Park about.
I know,
about,
but that's
about
South Park.
Well, okay, but they have a good point in it, which is people say that queefs aren't funny. I think they're hilarious.
Oh, they're really funny.
And then one of the women was like, "Well, are farts funny?" And they're like, "Yeah." Well, what about if a baby farts and then it comes out of the mom's vagina?
Okay, let's tone it down. Let's turn it.
That's a technical term.
Yeah, I know.
It's the term.
It's the this. The this.
Okay.
I like they did go a little blue with the humor.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated because we like farts.
If you've listened to the Double X Files podcast,
we've actually had the complaint that we talk about
oh boy,
Who
too much.
told you that?
Just someone on Reddit.
Whatever.
No, you know what? He said specifically that why would I listen to those two idiots talk about poop for a half hour? And that's fair. That is, we are idiots.
Yeah, I mean, that we are absolutely idiots, and we do talk about
people
poop.
I know.
Oh, oof.
Oh no. Oh no. So I want to fast forward. So they go, they find out that and we kind of see there's this strange guy and he's putting these machines and we see the machines kind of everywhere where there is ghost activity and it kind of spawns ghost activity. Let's talk about the bad guy.
Yeah, let's talk about the bad guy.
What's his actor name? Do you know
No, because he's totally not rememberable.
It's Neil Casey. He's actually a great comedian.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's very funny. He's a very funny man.
Barf.
Well, okay, why didn't you like him? Let's talk about that.
Okay. So if I am gonna see a bad guy and I want my 4 beautiful divas who bust ghosts to kick ass and take names against a bad guy, I don't want that bad guy to be so wimpy and ridiculous that my 4-year-old little sister could take him out.
Well,
like I feel like he would just like they made social awkwardness into a bad guy feature.
But then all of the all the Ghostbusters themselves are, except for maybe Patty, to some degree socially awkward.
Okay, but that doesn't negate the fact that they took something that is like something that people are and they made it into a bad guy feature. That's like
I understand that.
I
understand
saying that like
saying
that like Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter looks like a pink toad all the time.
I totally get what you're saying.
Can you make the bad guy a little bit more interesting?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there was a way to make that bad guy more sinister and more interesting and more of a challenge.
What do you think, Courtney?
I think the fact that we do see white males who are awkward and blame the world for their problems is a concept that we see in real life a lot. So I don't know. Well, we do.
Yeah.
And I think bringing that into the movie, because there is this kind of underground commentary on the girls deal with the internet a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And what the internet says about the girls is what the internet really said about these 4 women. That they were horrible and this and that, the other thing, or they were liars. And in the movie they say, oh, don't listen to the internet. Like, we know who we are. And I appreciated that commentary. And I think that extended to the bad guy.
Yeah.
Where he, as a white guy, is using his problems and blaming it on other people.
I guess.
Well, I think like part of it is that, I mean, where this villain is coming from and, you know, the narrative of Ghost Girl and all that stuff is just pulling from a really specific pop culture zeitgeist that's happening right now.
Yeah, it is. It is happening right now.
And I think they built a whole movie around it. Whether that's good or bad.
Well, I mean, I watched Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Which is Paul Feig's, like, he wrote it, he directed it, he
Yeah.
launched people's careers off of it. And that whole, like, TV series was, there are people who are not popular and there are people who are socially awkward.
Yeah, that was a good series.
Those socially awkward people are human beings and they have lives and they're trying to do stuff with them. And so the fact that he had a character that was pretty much those characters, but then just made them evil, I felt like it was a bit of a betrayal to
I understand that.
Yeah, I understand that.
I understand that. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
I would much rather that bad guy be a dude bro and not like
but then you would have a problem with that too.
That's a whole other
that's all yeah, that's a whole other problem.
That's my opinion.
Because I mean, making it making it different, that it isn't this, that he wasn't powerful until he died and became a ghost was interesting.
Yeah. Or a female bad guy.
That would have been very nice too.
I would rather have had that.
That would have been really good. With her own, you know what? I do agree with you, because then she could still take the same trope as the other guy, as our main villain, and say, you know, the world has been horrible to me, so I'm going to be horrible to the world.
Yeah, I think that would have been just a little bit more.
Yeah, you'd still be able to juxtapose it with the message of the Ghostbusters, which is like the world shits on us all the time, but we're gonna, this is what we're gonna do with it.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
I know, I should write movies.
You should write movies.
No, I'm really bad at writing.
But you know,
I'm a terrible writer. Funny, not good with the words.
But then you would have that issue, like,
girl hate.
5 women in a movie?
Oh my god!
boobs everywhere. I think, that would have been a better place to take it. So there is some complaints with the villain. Let's talk about the other complaint that people had with the Chris Hemsworth character, Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin, oh, sweet dear Kevin.
Sweet Kevin.
Is eye candy. And we talked about this before we even started recording.
Yeah.
That people have had problems with Kevin because Kevin is the stereotype man who is pretty to look at, but stupid as a brick. And he's sexualized.
Yeah.
He's sexualized a lot by Kristen Wiig. And you and I were talking about how that did take me out of the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, it was jarring. It was like, I came to watch 4 women fight ghosts. And I was okay with the fact that Chris Hemsworth was going to be the ditzy blonde guy. Like, I was excited about that. Other people in my life were like not so keen.
Yeah.
They have penises and they married me.
Yeah.
Hi, honey.
Hi, our second viewer.
Yeah. But what my thing is that it's gross when a guy does it, and it's also gross when women do it.
Okay, yeah.
And there should be
like
if this is supposed to be a woman power movie, like it was 4 women who were passing the Bechdel test until Chris Hemsworth came along, and I just felt like that was a kind of a minor betrayal.
And that is an important point.
Yeah.
That is a very important part. What did you think of Kevin? What did you think of Kevin?
I think
Kevin was the better part of that bad guy scenario, though. If
he was better part of that.
Was the bad guy, I would have been cool with it. Like if a ghost possessed the dumb guy, and just was like the dumb guy was actually trying to undermine them with his dumbness,
that would have been cute.
Would have been cute. Would have worked.
Yeah,
I think. Kind of. I said this before, and it's also kind of fits into what I was saying about the whole movie being built on a specific zeitgeist. But it's like they didn't just write a character named Kevin. They wrote a character named Kevin that's played by Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, and that's important.
Maybe they didn't have him in mind when they wrote the character, but they wrote a character named Kevin who's played by a guy who takes on very different roles than this one.
Yes.
And I think that was the intention.
Yeah.
So you can see pretty clearly that it's funny. Kevin is funny because Chris Hemsworth is Thor, because Chris Hemsworth is in a lot of action movies where he plays, a main male protagonist.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of the humor of Kevin is meant to come from.
And having him as not the main male protagonist is nice.
It is nice.
It's refreshing.
I saw Kevin, the character, as a commentary on the fact that a lot of every single blockbuster out there, again, I don't watch a lot of movies, so has one token female, and she's overtly sexualized.
Yeah.
And Kevin is a commentary on that. Now, whether or not we should turn it on its head and sexualize Kevin is a whole other argument, but I appreciated that the male, for this all-female cast, the male was a piece of eye candy.
But it wasn't, though, because the only person who sexualized Kevin was Kristen Wiig. Obviously, Jillian Holtzman gave no fucks.
Well, yeah, and they did really play it up, too, with...
Man, sorry.
Bad.
Bad. They did really play it up, too, with the way that, Kristen Wiig kind of would look at Chris Hemsworth and be like, oh, yeah, and then Melissa McCarthy would be like, him, really?
That guy?
But even he sexualized it, like he had his actor that were shirtless.
I get it.
And it was, I thought it was really cute. Like him playing the saxophone or him listening to the saxophone.
That was pretty hilarious.
It was really funny. It was a funny visual gag. And he in itself is a sexual object. It wasn't just Kristen Wiig doing it. Yeah. And whether or not that's correct of us to do to turn on a head, whether it's witty or unfeminist is up for argument. And I'm not going to tell you which one it is. I just found it refreshing that the only male good guy in this movie took on the role that females usually take on.
Yeah. I just found it funny, not that he was dumb, but the degree to which he was dumb.
It was over the top and it was funny.
Yeah, they took it, I think, so far that it was like, this is just unbelievable.
I actually like how they made the city hall officials stupid. I feel like that level of dumbness would have been a little better.
Yeah.
Cecily Strong.
Oh, she was great.
She was really good.
top notch.
She was really good.
And Andy Garcia did a great job.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, Andy Garcia,
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go on. Let's talk about the government part in this.
Oh God.
So this is where it gets a little muddy for me, and I don't, maybe a little bit. So the women start fighting ghosts, and I do actually let's back up because I do want to. My favorite part of this movie was the part where people said it was very slow, and that is dealing with the technology of ghost busting.
Okay.
I thought that was really interesting.
And people thought that was slow?
And I guess people thought that was slow.
Well, they're dumb.
They are okay, whatever,
How
right?
can you hate on a montage?
I think that one of the things that really bugged me about the Ghostbusters lore is we like, hey, this is the thing you can use, and I like the trial and error, and I like seeing more technology. I thought that was so cool. Like the things that Kate McKinnon's character came up with I thought that was the coolest part, and I had a smile on my face when that stuff happened. That whole section of the movie, I really enjoyed.
Fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I really enjoyed
Good
it.
stuff.
Some other people thought it was boring, and I understand that. Maybe that's you wanted to just see some busting ghosts,
But
right?
there's already so much busting ghosts. I just feel like,
They want toe-to-tip busting ghosts.
well, that is not how life is.
That's how my life is. What are you up to?
I have a boring life.
So let's talk. So that's what I liked. That was my favorite part of the movie, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the government thing.
The
Yeah.
government thing. Gosh.
Do you want to explain the government thing? Like,
Yeah,
what?
I
Okay.
can. So essentially, they busted ghosts in public, and it's yes, I know I'm going to compare it to the other Ghostbusters.
That's
movie.
fine. Like, we
Well,
gotta
I
do
feel
it.
like at this part it's reasonable.
This
too.
part is reasonable. So like in the other Ghostbusters movie, the EPA guy is always on their tail because obviously they have like a nuclear reactor in their in their firehouse and things are not so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, they developed a high profile busting thing. People are like, oh my God, ghosts exist, and they got hauled into the mayor of New York's office.
Andy Garcia,
with his lovely assistant Cecily Strong,
who was just perfectly
who's
slimy.
just like doing her best version of like girl you don't want to talk to at a party. That's a character from SNL.
It's all good.
It's all good. And essentially their thing was, so you guys can continue doing what you're doing, but we're going to deny that you're doing it. We're going to say that you're complete frauds, but please keep doing what you're doing because we can't do this. So anytime that there was a situation where there was ghost busting and stuff like that, they would bust a ghost and then they would like fake arrest them.
Yeah.
And say that they were frauds, which adds to the whole like victim blaming, disenfranchising of people.
Yeah.
Motif of the movie.
Did we like this concept?
No.
Of them saying
The government position. Did we like how this was handled?
Okay. The way that I'll say this is I understand why they put it in with regards to the previous movie, but I don't think it was handled that well as an aspect of the plot.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think I think that part of the movie just felt a little heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, okay, we need the government to oppose them in some way because that's an element of what it means to be a Ghostbuster, is to be doing it on the down low.
Yeah.
But I think they just took maybe a really obvious route with it, with regards to like, people being aware of the existence of ghosts. And
yeah, that was
that part was a bit heavy-handed for sure and a little on the nose.
I agree with Anne in that this needs to be part of a Ghostbusters movie where it is it is a government thing.
That's part of what it is to be a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, but it was a little awkward.
It was an awkward fit, and I feel like there could have been a more clever way of doing it, or maybe it's just like not have them go talk to the mayor of New York, but like have the actual government like getting on their case. I guess like
that would have blown things up a lot.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know how I would do it, but I would not have done it that way.
Or
again, I'm not a writer.
If it would have been introduced from the beginning that this was a concept,
that because it did just kind of like
I
just
do
slip
wanna,
in halfway through.
I do want to put in there that they introduced Bill Murray as a skeptic, and the skeptic came and visited them, and then all three of us had to go to the bathroom, so we missed that scene.
Yeah. But apparently he died.
He
so
dies in it.
Bill Murray dies, so
It's a thing. Happens.
Do you want to take this time? I mean, we got I'm gonna say 50 minutes. Yeah, we got 50 minutes. Do you want to talk about the honoring the past?
Like all of the beautiful cameos.
The cameos.
Oh, the cameos are choice. The first cameo was actually a Harold Ramis bust.
That was cute.
That was really great.
That was really nice.
So good.
It was kind of that thing, and everyone kind of went, "Oh, he's in the university."
I loudly went, "Oh!" in the movie theater.
You did. I heard
somebody was like,
and it was in memory. The movie was a memory of him too.
Yeah.
The Bill Murray again. He was a skeptic. He was flat to me.
Well, and I think that the Bill Murray as a skeptic thing was brought in.
I thought it was cute.
It was brought in, but it was also filmed later on in the
that's what
production of
it
it because Bill Murray was against the movie for a while, and then it took some lobbying for him to read the script and see like the dailies of what had been done so far.
Yeah.
And then they brought him in after he was like, you know what, I give up. I'm good.
That almost
and
seems.
If you look at the movie that way, then that's fine.
Yeah. How about what's his name?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Best caddy.
That was really great.
A bit of trivia about Dan Aykroyd is that his family has been into the metaphysics for ever and ever and ever. His great grandfather started like a metaphysical society in Canada, and they totally do that type of research where they like map ley lines and they do old school rituals and seances and like back in the 80s they had the option to either do a live version of Hitchhiker's Guide. They bought the rights to do that, or Ghostbusters, which they wrote. So they were kind of like, we could do either or, but his grandfather died and he decided that he was going to do this movie in his honor. So it's like a family business for Dan Aykroyd. He loves the occult.
So he was a taxi driver and had a cute, really long, I ain't afraid no ghosts. And it was cute. It was a little sad.
He's like, I don't want to go to Chinatown. She's like, there's ghosts. He's like, whatever. It's New York.
Actually, my favorite moment
was it Annie Potts?
I like Sigourney Weaver's moment at the end, but I like the Ernie Hudson moment.
Really?
I did.
I was like, oh, I called it. I was like, it's gonna be Ernie Hudson.
So what happens is Patty borrows the hearse from, and she always talks about her uncle, correct?
Yeah. Her uncle.
And then we're like, so this was kind of a through line, and it was kind of a gag, and he. At the very, very end, she's like, oh my God, my uncle's going to be so mad. And the uncle pulls up and we were like, oh yeah, Ernie Hudson. Oh yeah. And I like that one. Sigourney Weaver was good.
Annie Potts was amazing.
Yeah,
I love that she was the front desk person at the hotel.
What you want?
Her back was turned and I kept hearing her voice when they were talking. And I was like, Peter, it's Annie Potts. She's my favorite person. I love Janine Melnitz. Like I owned all of the Janine stuff.
Sorry, we got that.
Yeah. And then
Rick Moranis
did not do it. He opted out. He said that he was done doing
and we respect
franchise.
that.
And that's totally cool.
Fine.
Rick Moranis didn't do anything except for act in it.
Yeah.
I know. But he was my favorite part of that movie.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
And the unspoken other character that I want to mention is just I really liked the way they worked in Ray Parker Jr.'s music and the original score into the music for this movie.
The piano?
It hit at all the right moments.
Yeah.
So
I do want to say the Fall Out Boy music. I love Missy.
Her part in it was sad.
I didn't think it was that
No,
bad.
you know what? I do want to say I was smiling so much seeing these girls in action. When that music came on, it did not bother me. It did not pull me out. But as a female who is starving for female heroes, a bunch of them all together, I was so overjoyed that it didn't bother me.
My one thing about this is that I would rather it have been Missy Elliott
featuring
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, that's legit.
To do it.
Okay.
Because I think
Absolutely.
Missy Elliott could have done a way better job doing a Ghostbusters theme, especially if Timberland was producing.
Okay, so I do want to talk about the climax because I think that is one of the parts that is the weakest.
Yeah.
So ghosts are going crazy. The bad guy's now Ghost and is in Kevin, and so the building gets sucked into the afterlife, and so Slimer is driving the Hearstmobile, and they say, well, we have a nuclear reactor on that, so if we can get that car into the hole, everything will be fine. That's a little...
And we have to reverse the polarity. Which is like techno babble.
It was very quick for me.
For me, it was the part where Kristen Wiig dives in after Melissa McCarthy.
That too, yeah.
And like the amount of time it takes them to like hold each other and the hole is closed and you're like, this is not...
I wish they kept that time and put it into making the climax feel not so sudden.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fault.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It was not as good as it could have been.
But then the other thing is that like that time instead went into like all of those weapons montages and that dialogue that you enjoyed.
That is true.
So it's all a balance.
It is all a balance. I felt like the latter half of the movie did not do it for me as much as the first half of the movie.
It reeked of rewrite.
Yeah.
That's what it reeked of. I think that they had an original ending that they wanted. They shot dailies for it. They sent it to Sony, and Sony was like, nope, redo it. And I think that that's what happened.
Is that speculation or do you...
I believe that is speculation in my life.
I do want to do something that you and I talked about.
Yeah.
That I do want to confirm. The dance scene with the police that you see at the credits was actually meant to be in the movie.
No.
Yes.
Oh, you guys were saying, I'm so glad that was cut. And I was saying, come on, they couldn't have been planning to put that in the movie.
No,
that's so idiotic.
I don't understand why you would be like, make the cops point.
Yeah, if it's not going to be.
If it's not going to be.
Right.
No.
But
like
I had hope in my heart, Anne. I had hope in my heart.
Back to the mask.
Yeah, it was a callback.
Deep cut. Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm really glad that got cut. That was painful to watch.
That would have.
And the only thing that would have been cool is if they did keep it, that they actually just did the Thriller dance.
No, even then, wouldn't have liked it. Wouldn't have been into it.
No. Let's talk about. Is there anything we want to talk about again at the ending?
Oh, I just want to talk about the scene, like the big montage where they're fighting ghosts downtown.
Yeah.
And the way the cameras were moving.
Yeah.
Was so cool.
The pistol scene.
The way they all worked together.
So good.
Was really great.
Yeah. Pistol scene was great. I actually like the stilt walking ghost. He was my favorite ghost.
And all those like historical ghosts.
I love the historical
I
ghosts.
know you did. That was really great.
I killed a pilgrim. I like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best part of
that was the highlight of the second half for me.
I think that's
seeing. I love a good movie where you do a weapon montage and then you get to see the weapon. And it's Chekhov's weapon.
Yeah.
Chekhov's ghost busting, I guess. I think
Chekhov's proton pack?
Chekhov's protein pack?
Protein pack.
That's what I use every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, look. That's some favorable lighting.
You guys are getting
a
free gun show.
I want to show this one. This one's smaller. No, it's not. It's the same.
Oh, what a twist.
Okay.
What a twist.
I think that was important. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, because that was my favorite part. Ending credits?
Oh, yeah.
What do we think about... Okay, so they're all together, and Patty's like... listening to the sound machine, and she's like, you got to hear this. It's something about Gozer. What do we think about a sequel?
No,
Zool. What do we think about a sequel?
They've confirmed a sequel.
Which is good.
Which is good.
What do you think about having Zool in it?
I'm so excited. I can't even begin to tell you how
really?
excited
Yeah.
Yes. Because I want to see if they make Zool a girl again. Gozer, right? Like that hot androgynous thing. I'm excited about that.
What are you thinking? What do you think, Alison?
I'm into it. You know what? They with this movie was so fun that I want to see what they can do with it.
I just want to avoid comparing the two movies. And I think if they do a Zool Gozer situation, it's just going to line them up for more man arguments.
But I would say I would hope they would do it in a different way where it's like, this
True.
is the return of Zool, where it's not like
the baby Zool Jr.
No,
I don't know.
No. It's like it's happened after the previous film or something like that. Like it's not
I think
the exact same story.
But I think what I would like to have happen is instead of it being like a repeat shot for shot redo of that, because that's stupid.
I don't want that.
I would like them to spend more time having them figure out different, either bring it into that, like the first movie and then the second movie and then probably the third movie actually have an overlaying like thread throughout the whole thing, so that the big bad of the third movie, since this is totally ramping up to be a trilogy, was actually pulling the strings in the first movie. And since they started talking about like ley lines and that type of metaphysical stuff, having architecture built on ley lines and cross points is, I think it sounds like it's going to be a ramp up. I know you just don't want things to be like the first movie.
No. I just don't want there to be that situation where this movie puts itself in the situation of compare us directly to the old movie. Well, because I feel that
it's unavoidable though. You can't get away from it. But here's my big question. Yeah. If they keep going this way, can they get Peter McNichol? Because no one's going to be upset about that.
No one's going to be upset about Peter McNichol.
Guys. Well, yeah, you know who will be upset about Peter McNichol?
Who? Peter McNichol?
Remember when I was on Ally McBeal?
You guys remember? Do you remember me?
Ally McBeal.
A lot of people are Googling that right now. Who's that guy?
What's Ally McBeal?
No.
Dancing Baby.
I feel
unisex washrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about Ally McBeal, you guys.
Portia de Rossi.
Oh, yeah.
Lucy Liu. Okay, I'm sorry. I took us on a tangent.
This is not the Double X Files.
My
Allison.
bad.
We're going to get a note from Michael.
My butt is all wet.
It's because you doused yourself
I spilled water.
Was there a jump scare?
No.
Personally, I think that there is a point in time where if you are working on something that has original source material, that touching back to that original source material.
But they did that.
Okay, but you can't just how many times are they going to make movies about superheroes and comic books?
That's why I don't watch those movies.
Okay,
this might be a Courtney problem.
For you.
I know. I want to protect my sweet babies, and I don't want them to.
Courtney, but you need what do they say when you're writing?
I don't know. What do they
say? They say kill your babies.
Kill the baby. Well,
it's true. I know that you want to protect your sweet babies, but
and by sweet babies, I mean these four lovely ladies who put themselves out there in a situation, and I would hate. I just don't want.
But they just spent 2 years being told that they were going to get raped for doing this movie, and then they did this movie, and they're doing great, and everything's perfect, and everybody is super excited.
What was it? 3.6.
It did very well.
I do want to point something out, and I found this very, very, very interesting.
But what I want to say is
go on.
That they spent a long time being told that they were garbage for doing the movie, and then they proved everybody wrong, and they are adults.
I know, but
okay.
I know that doesn't change my opinion. I do want to point out something, and I did find it very, very interesting. The rating of Ghostbusters 2016 on IMDb now is a 5.2.
Boo!
Now, I just want to point this out. If you look at the statistics like that, and it divides between male and female, the majority of males are rating it a 1, and the majority of females are rating it a 10.
How do you find that info?
It was up. I saw it the other day. I saw it today.
However, I don't use IMDb.
No, I just thought it was very interesting.
It is. Peter and I read IGN. IGN rated it okay.
And Rotten Tomatoes rated it a 75.
Okay,
we're also rating it.
Yeah, we are.
Like,
this is it here.
Well,
Alison.
but this is the thing, is that we read the comments of that IGN article, and you could tell people who were hating on it because of the hating on it aspect of it, and people who were looking at it in a we are rational adults way.
Yeah.
People who are rational adults would say things like, the Times, like Time Magazine and the New York Times and NPR and all of these other news outlets that aren't IGN gave it good ratings. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with those sources because those sources are the types of places that I trust, whereas IGN is a site meant for
the thing I googled was Ghostbusters IMDb user ratings, and you can see the demographic breakdown. And in terms of females and males, the average is 8.1, and males the average was 4.5.
Okay.
Is this a movie for women? Yeah, I would say yeah. It's for us.
I think this is a movie for feminists.
I mean, beyond that, yes.
Here's what I think.
Okay,
I think let's. Since we're getting to the end of the podcast, let's focus on what we thought of it and give our last thoughts, because this is our Golly G podcast and it is about us.
Yeah. That's true. Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm going to kind of reiterate what I said at the beginning. Was it a perfect movie? No. Was it perfectly plotted? No. Could it have been improved? Yes. Does that not only have to do with the writing, the directing, but also, studio involvement? It's so huge, the different amount of things that can have an effect on a movie like this. But watching it, I had fun, and I don't like going to the theater. Like, there's so many things about it that I don't like, and I almost never go. And to go and see a movie like this and to have so much fun with a group of friends, like to really enjoy myself, made it worthwhile for me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Anne. Last thoughts.
I really, really love this movie. There's definitely, I can tell that there was a lot of effort put into one storyline being what the storyline was, and that it did suffer from input. And the one thing that I sniff out from movies is death by input. Like movies that could be amazing, but you could tell some douchebag from a
designed by committee.
Yeah. Some jerk from some corporate entity went, no, you can't have this be the way that you want it to be.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to me at all, which is great. But what I'd like to say is that I would use this as a tool to make sure that there are female writers and female film directors and producers, because this was definitely a movie that was aimed towards that population. And I really loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Heart.
Courtney, last thoughts.
Oh boy. I don't like movies. And especially I don't like blockbusters. And I feel like they're formulaic and boring. I do. Remember when we went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, I came out of that movie just like crying, tears of joy. And Courtney was like, I could have gone lifting.
Well, because it's a good superhero movie. But is it a good movie? Like, it was an entertaining superhero movie, right? Yeah. It's an entertaining blockbuster movie. This was an entertaining blockbuster movie, but I enjoyed it a lot more because I could see myself in the characters, because all the headlining characters were female. Mm-hmm. And I think if this movie, you replaced it with males, I would not have enjoyed it. Okay. And the fact that there were female characters and they joked like me and my female friends, and I just had a smile on my face seeing these really important characters to me. I enjoyed it a lot more than if it was switched, if it was any other gender.
Yeah.
It had problems for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The plot itself was okay. Like, they had problems. But the thing I enjoyed the most is the first half of that movie where we see these characters develop. And I, again, had a smile on my face the entire time. Mm-hmm. And I loved that aspect. And that's why I would support and go see a sequel, because of those women, not necessarily the plot of the movie, which is my concept. Is it flawed? Maybe. Maybe that thought is flawed. But I made a choice to see this movie in theaters opening weekend. And I think we all did.
Yeah,
because we wanted to give this movie money.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like giving movies my money, because I think movies are stupid sometimes.
Okay.
I do. I think I don't.
On that note,
Yeah, okay.
if you want to hear more of Courtney and me, you can listen to the Double X Files podcast. If you enjoyed hearing Anne, you can look forward to the Riverdale Gang podcast in January.
In August, we're going to be releasing a drunk cast of the Josie and the Pussycats movie.
I cannot wait.
It's going to be great. So my co-podcaster, Tia, who's not here because she is a comedian and does things that are not this, we're going to get day drunk. We're going to watch Josie and the Pussycats. We're going to talk about how it formed us as young women. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to do a sober cast later on where we are not drunk talking about it. And then we're going to tie that into Patreon.
Okay, so let's talk about the Patreon.
Yep.
In order to get Anne's podcast going, what do we need? 200, 225?
225.
225. We need $225 a month. And that just means you out there, our beautiful listeners, like $1 a month is a good
Put
start.
some money in there.
If you aren't able to pull money out of your pocket, just link it. Give it to some people who maybe, or tell some people about podcasts that are on there, especially the Double X Files.
Especially ThunderQuack, because it's a great network.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
I have a special job. I have to make sure that ThunderQuack is nice.
Oh, we promote it all the time.
I know.
Come on.
$7 a month gets you into the X Files, Double X Files Snail Mail Club, and we have been sending out some good stuff lately.
Some real good stuff.
So make sure you do that. No one's talking to us because probably our collective husbands are the ones watching it right now, currently. But
Misogyny,
in the future, in the future, if you do watch this, you can email us at doublexfilespodcast@gmail.com. Do you guys have an email yet?
Yeah, it's riverdaleGangPodcast@gmail.com.
So you guys can email us. And we can
also hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Is that it?
That's it. That's our thoughts. That's our feelings. We had a lot of them, and you heard them.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I am. I'm also afraid of sheets with holes in them and sheets.
I'm afraid of mannequins. So that was the most terrifying.
Oh my god, it was a
Anyway.
room full of nightmares.
I'm
afraid of death.
Okay, guys. Bye.